I am CouchCube, and I happen to be a big fan of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Reviewed the game on my channel in 2016, and it was a fantastic walking simulator. This is far from a walking simulator. It is a case of see you later walking simulator. In Chinese Room, they do have a certain format to their games, quite recognizable. This one is a real gem. I absolutely love it. Set in the mid-70s on a Scottish oil rig out in the North Sea. Introduction is almost perfect. I do want to stipulate this is running on PC on high settings. I got it to 30 frames per second, and we're looking at 1080. I'd be very interested to hear how it performs on 9th gen consoles, particularly the PlayStation 5, because I'll probably make a move to getting it over on that system also. There's not a lot I dislike about this game.
You alright, Roy?
Cars, me old mucker.
I do.
Rolling in at around 6 hours total playtime. There is a bit more, I feel, than that within it, and I'm going to tiptoe around the story as much as I possibly can and try and avoid any major sort of spoilery visuals. As the title and a lot of that preliminary artwork suggests, we are going full Lovecraft here. We may have drilled quite literally into Cthulhu's forehead.
Am I alright to get by, pal?
Sorry, you have to go around, cards.
It also takes you through some cool weather effects and interior and exterior areas very early on. You get a feel for the rig itself. I love the colour scheme. It's a very good looking game, I feel, particularly on those high settings. The lighting's good and things change around quite a lot with what happens and when it happens with the time of day. Now, this is one of the best telling offs from a boss you will ever see in a video game. It is absolutely legendary, and this game's only been out 24 hours.
Do you understand me?
Alright, why don't you just get on with it?
Don't you answer me back!
There is a cataclysmic event. I want to avoid how that unfolds, but basically you're in a rapture situation where things falling apart. You've really got to scramble around and connect with everybody again and sort of explore this rig in a derelict format. You're using catwalks. There's a lot of height, jumping and grabbing. This game is loads more action-packed than Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, but it also is quite more on rails. That game gave you a sort of village and loads of choice. You were overturning a lot of stones, essentially. This feels more like a AAA action game.
Fuck! Ah!
Some big influences in this game. The Colour of Space comes to mind, even snippets of The Abyss, but it does take a very dark turn. That is what I consider the juicy stuff, so I'm going to sort of cherry pick smaller sections from some of the more tense areas of that first half.
Fuck!
The thing that you'll straight up notice is that there's no real UI, there's no minimap, there's no you've got key set 8 in your inventory. There is an amazing clicking R3 to instantly look behind you. It's hella confusing when you are actually running away from something, and yes, you're running away from a shed ton of really scary stuff. This is probably one of the more atmospheric and scary games I've had the pleasure of playing this year, and it nestles right up to Alien Isolation with me because of some of its hiding inside little cabin mechanics, which is quite a welcome thing to see.
No! Do not do this! What the fuck is that?
So alongside all of this structural damage, there's also some human corrosion at foot as well. The horror atmosphere and aesthetics of this game are really very high. It peaks past games like Outlast and Amnesia because I think that setting is absolutely awesome. The petrol on the water here, all the pipes, and that 70s analog feeling is very well played through with the level design, noises, and the language that everybody's using, and fashions and consoles. There's also not a single drop of America in this whole game. It's a little bit like the Quatermass or some old school good Doctor Who stuff. Don't mention Doctor Who, mate. I did want to play Dear Esther, that's also from the studio, and they actually got involved with Amnesia too. But this sits on top of the pile, I feel, for their horror and action genre.
If there's anybody here, fucking say something! McCleary here?
Cross,
It's O'Connor. I've got Bruce and Fergus with me. You know what's going on?
No, but we hit something. You need to get out of there.
The phone calls are really good. They come from different departments on the rig and you can line it all up with the maps. It very much promotes you looking at maps a lot, but there isn't too much choice on direction to go in on that front end. You do get some slightly open area arenas coming up, and that's when things get super interesting because you have distraction. You can also sneak and get inside things. As mentioned before, the Alien Isolation vibe is strong with this one.
Trots! Trots, is that you? I can't hear you, man. Open the door.
You obviously get given a flashlight and it sort of plays on this, and it starts really introducing more John Carpenter thing-like aesthetics as opposed to slightly more tamer Lovecraftian sea beasts. This thing goes very gory. It is not for the faint-hearted, and it is very well done. Almost an annihilation. A lot of the mutation of the human form within the growths that are now encompassing the entire rig. The ducts and tight corridors are definitely worth mentioning, with good sound design and also a rescue mechanic. When you slip off or fall off a ledge, you have to clasp L2, it's timed. There's a few QTE moments like that. There's enough to keep you occupied. The draw for me is the setting and the story, awesome art surrounding a lot of the monsters and grotesque growth that you see within this oil rig.
Jesus. Oh, come on, you're joking me.
There's this awesome thing which a lot of games do where it says, here's your escape route, just get to X, Y and Z and everything's going to be cool, but it won't be because you're still only in hour 2 of the main story. So you know it's going to go wrong, you know you're going to get put back to 0, and it does it with such style and panache that you just don't mind actually hanging out on this crazy rig that's got this unbelievably dark entity taking over it. Spoilers. So the sneak stuff is terrifying. All of it's having to be done through sight and sound. You haven't got vision cones with your mini map, and you're creeping in and out of kitchen equipment a la Jurassic Park 1, so you really do get the feels. I do need to gripe at least about one thing in the video game, and if I had to get pushed around to say what I would want to see improvement on, it would be performance over on my mid-range PC. Some of the outside areas do get in a bit of a jumble. I was watching the frames go down from 30 to around 20 to 25 on certain busy sections. I very much doubt we see that on 9th gen. Can I have your feedback on it? And if you're running this on the old big rig, how impressive is that epic setting? One can only dream. We are moving into massive spoiler territory as far as I'm concerned with the game's reveals at this point, so I just want to be very careful, but make sure that I hammer home how exciting and fire-ridden and monster-heavy this game gets once you're at least 2.5 hours in. The 6-hour thing, I was the same with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That was around 8 to 5, depending on how much you wanted to gather within the completion sphere. But I'm happy, and it's just such a great palate cleanser on the horror front with that setting.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Okay, no more. Dim the lights, watch The Thing, or even read some Sutter Kane. Why don't you have a go at Father Gascoigne whilst you're at it, and then play this. You will not be disappointed. It's not R2 to click to shotgun, it's listen to that dialogue and it's settled in with a really well written story and well acted. It's got some of the cooler voice acting I've listened to this year, and I very much expect this game to pop up at the Got You Awards. Was of course Couch Coop, and I very much look forward to seeing you down there.
she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful girl? Oh, look, here comes the suitor.